Pretending to Protest by Jane Cambell. 1983. It started with me and Duran singing about how hungry like the wolf we were. Finally, I was 18. I'd just spent my last compulsory Christmas at home with my badly divorced parents. Next year, I am determined to be opening presents with my sexually adult lesbian girlfriend as soon as I can find her. Being at college when I first came out, I'd been adopted by the political lesbians there. They didn't seem to actually sleep with each other though, so much as judge each other's choices and issue decrees about what makes a real lesbian. To be frank, I'd had enough of the radical feminist scene with its expanding rules and dwindling membership. The idea that feminist sex must involve simultaneous mutual orgasm had done my head in. It was hard enough to know what I was doing down there without that kind of pressure. Instead, I was getting fascinated by the hand-drawn leaflets from Greenham Common Women's Peace Camp. I'd pore over their carefully illustrated stories. Imagine living outdoors in a protest camp with loads of women and my beautiful, sexy, activist girlfriend. I'm already there in my mind. Even when I still lived at home, I'd seen tabloid headlines blazing about how the peace camp was a hotbed of lesbian sex. And even though Phil Collins was all, "You can't hurry love," now I was hatching a plan to go there. Go to Greenham Common and meet real, we actually fancy women lesbians instead of the, we don't sleep with men kind. At college, I put up hand-drawn posters inviting women students to hold hands around the base on the coming International Women's Day and wangled the student union minibus. So it is early on a chilly March morning, breath smoking from our nostrils, when we load up tents into the brand new van. It seems, in my rush to make sure I fill up the bus, I've promised more seats than there actually are. With much huffing and puffing, the radical feminists have to squeeze up tight to the straight women, muttering darkly anytime someone mentions a male child, let alone a boyfriend. The journey becomes more and more horribly tense as we get stuck in heavy traffic, so I try to lighten the atmosphere with some protest songs I've learnt from the leaflets. Maybe it's my lack of a tune, but nobody even tries to join in. Then we catch sight of the M4 motorway sign to RAF Greenham Common. Some audacious women have entirely covered the sign with a massive pink triple women symbol. Suddenly all our differences are forgotten and the whole bus erupts into shrieks of delight. Now we are all shouting at the top of our lungs, "You can't kill the spirit, she is like a mountain." Following graffitied signs to the cruise missile base until the main entrance comes into view. There are women everywhere, from students to wrinkled crones. They spill out of buses, sprawl on car bonnets, lounge about picnicking on the grass, or stand absorbed in the act of hugging each other. One group of women patiently threads ribbons through the chain-link fence, making pictures of doves, CND symbols, and the word peace in giant rainbow letters. Even the road is decorated in splashy-coloured paints that proclaim, "Women are here to stay till the missiles go away." We watch women through the steamy bus windows, unsure how to join in, until we hear the childish wail of police sirens approach. This reminds me that I'm personally responsible for any damage to the extremely shiny minibus. So I drive on, looking for somewhere less muddy to park. As we drive around the base, we discover that every mile or so the fence is punctuated by another gate, and at every gate there are explosions of colour. Ribbons sewn onto the fence and clusters of women wearing bright winter coats and badly knitted hats. All of the gates are a complete muddy wreck until finally we arrive at one where the layout is less chaotic. Welcome to Orange Gate is scrawled in drippy paint on the road. At last, I see a solid grassy parking spot. Once we are all out of the bus, it's more than obvious that we aren't planning to make camp together. So we agree to meet at the bus again the next evening at 6. As I haul my camping bag onto my back, I notice that the hairs on my neck have stood up. I'm shivery from being surrounded by so many women. The airwaves are filled with excited squeals and I'm totally turned on. I strike out alone, determined to keep to my plan of finding an activist girlfriend. But I'm brought up short by a not to be ignored something I see through the 8-foot-high fence. I see actual nuclear missiles in the distance. With a gulp, I realise that if Russia decided to attack, I'm in the exact place they would strike. Like a giant pack of pointy cigarettes with their tips poking into the sky, the missiles are the only colour visible in an otherwise dull palette of concrete and camouflage. Red rings painted onto sleek white, they are permanently erect, ready at 4 minutes' notice to commence a war of world mutually assured destruction. It's literally mad. By way of a huge contrast, on the other side of the fence, the women's peace camp springs up like a garden, growing in ever-increasing circles as tents bloom red, orange, yellow and blue, transforming the dull scrubland into feminist Eden. Because of the missiles, though, we have come together, celebrating this International Women's Day by calling for peace. Thousands of workers, students and the unemployed. As individuals, we have limited political power, unless we pretend like Thatcher does to be men. But like an army of ants, the sheer weight of our numbers are drawing the eyes of the world towards the airbase and how we are being used as America's boxing glove. Women who've brought cameras get busy taking pictures of those who live here permanently, those who wear at least 3 layers and sleep under grubby sheets of plastic tarpaulin thrown over pegged-down trees. This makes no sense to me, so I sit down at a smoky fire pit to ask why they don't just camp in tents. I'm told in a patient, if slightly weary voice, that everyday warrants issued by the local courts are enforced by council bailiffs and by a team of bin men who confiscate and destroy everything they can find with obvious relish. Because of this constant tearing down, women have learnt to live with only the amount of stuff that they can carry in their arms during an eviction. And this has been their lives for more than 10 years already. These women must be more robust or built somehow better than me to withstand the freezing misery of a life like this. I can't help but notice, though, that quite a few of them are much older than me, so I have to smoke a very big spliff to make these uncomfortable feelings go away. Feeling extremely spliffy, I continue my journey towards the main fire pit near the gate. Here, a woman suckles a baby who's fallen off asleep. She sits drinking tea, unself-conscious about her dangling breast. I sit down next to her, strangely paranoid. Is this my new girlfriend? But I don't want her to notice that I can't keep my eyes off her nipple. Maybe I'm like a man, always looking at women as sex objects. There is happy shouting in the air and screaming, laughing. Women who see a long-lost friend hug for ages, as if they just enjoy feeling their bodies pressed together. In fact, everywhere I look, women seem to be kissing and touching each other. Is it just me, or has a sexual shiver spread through even the women I had down as definitely straight? It seems the red tops were right for once. Being at Greenham seems to be some kind of wild aphrodisiac. Is it just the safety of women-only space that makes us realise how attractive the woman sat next to us really is? Women who were talking about campaigning themselves into prison 1 minute ago now open their mouths to pleasure one another. I realise with a start that someone else is kissing the naked-breasted woman. I guess she isn't going to be my new girlfriend then. I am in fact sat between two sets of sexy fondlers, and I wish that I had someone I could kiss. I'm sure it's sleazy to watch them kissing from this close up, so I force myself to study the fire instead. Blackened kettles with melted, barely graspable plastic handles threaten to topple at the smallest shift of a log. All around us it is a blast site. A muddy ring of footprints where women come and go. Beyond this, on the only patch of grass left, someone has made shelves out of milk crates for all kinds of tea-making equipment. There is even a melty washing-up bowl and drainer filled with mugs. Everything is filthy on the outside, but reasonably clean where it counts. Sort of functionally post-apocalyptic. Still, my mind returns to the nipple sitting next to me. I sneak a peek and see she is feeding the baby again. What is wrong with me? It's not like I haven't seen a breast before. Why am I so nervous about sitting next to this stranger whose breast is actually busy with providing somebody with lunch? My mouth is now so dry, I'm desperate for a cuppa. I wonder when someone who knows the ropes will sort the kettle out. It seems only fair after how far I've come to support them. But no one offers me anything. Even when they make drinks for other women around the fire, nobody seems to notice me. I notice that despite Mudmageddon, all of them seem completely fussy about what kind of tea they want and what kind of special milk they need. After a lot of arguing about whether the kettle is properly boiling, it seems everyone else has a drink but me. Then I get offered a filthy mug of something hot that no one else wanted because it contains cow's milk. Wondering what other kind of milk there is, I catch sight of two women dragging a ludicrously heavy plastic water container. Probably they have done this many times before, but despite using an old lady's shopping trolley, the weight of the water means that the wheels are completely submerged beneath the mud and are refusing to go round at all. Undeterred, they continue to drag the whole thing. By the time they reach the fire, I feel wretchedly guilty. I sip whatever it is in my cup, aware now how grateful I am to have a warm, wet drink. If it is this hard to make tea, I'm not going to be moving in and joining the camp. The reality is loads of hard work and a grim determination to meet basic human needs, with the prospect only of prison to break the ordeal. My utopian vision of a lesbian paradise, all sipping hot chocolates and having great sex in tents, was actually a complete delusion. But then, from out of a tatty brown kitchen tent, a woman calls for volunteers to chop veg. Up shoots my "I'll chop veg with a gorgeous woman like you" hand. And after a sort of snort, she motions towards an enormous sack of carrots and I gush, "Happy to help." 10 minutes later, I'm sat alone staring at a filthy pony carrot that still wears a thick layer of the field it has recently left. Great. I'm going to spend my whole trip being a kitchen drudge and not getting a girlfriend or stopping nuclear proliferation one little bit. Then I notice someone pretty is taking my photo. I smile and hold up a couple of carrots like a peace sign. The woman taking the photo enthusiastically thanks me and I realise I'm being seen as a genuine Greenham woman. Perhaps this is how I'll get a shag. Suddenly, loads of photos are being taken of me next to Carrot Mountain. Then, women are asking me questions about the location of the shit pits and what time lunch will be ready. At first, I motion towards the real Greenham women inside the tent. But after realising that this is winding them up, I relay the instructions I've heard. Maybe this is my calling. I will give up my stupid sociology degree, move down here, both saving the world and finding a girlfriend. I've seen several women I want to get to know better. From my peeling vantage point, I can watch women as they pass by. I realise that many of them are giving me the flirty eyes. When I say me, of course, what I mean is the real Greenham woman that they think I am. The one who manages to live through the daily evictions, then peel a whole sack of carrots without breaking a sweat. From inside the tent though, I can hear anxious voices raised about how many of the visitors are really going to stay and help the cause, or are they just here for a party? I realise that they've gone to a lot of trouble to get women to join, and for the second time today, I feel like a fraud. Finally, after 3 hours of peeling, fingers bright orange, my carrots are added to the stew. I turn to the cooks asking if there is other jobs I can do, but there is no new job for me. I'm dismissed. My chance to look like a real feminist activist is over. I join the end of an enormous queue to wait for food. More than having to wait in line, what hurts is it's obvious I'm just a day tripper all over again. I keep my head down in case anyone witnesses my relegation. All that glorious attention has now been transferred to those serving the queue. Unable to stand that and the everyone kissing but me thing, I skulk away to my tent for the earliest of nights. Far from getting a new girlfriend, I'm actually hiding away, hoping no one has noticed me pretending to be a real Greenham woman. The next day is Sunday, and the time of the big action for which 30,000 women have come here. Everyone seems to have dressed up, and loads of women have painted peace symbols on their faces and put bright hedge flowers in their hair. Some hold up tiny mirrors to reflect the soldiers' faces back to them in an effort to encourage them to act peacefully. But the soldiers don't engage. There are way more of us than them. For about an hour, women sing simple chants and dance around each other in a weaving fashion. I'm not sure the dancey thing is for me, so I watch from the edge until a small group of women begin to sit down on the ground and I realise it has begun. There are more than 200 of us that day who sit blocking the missiles from coming out of Orange Gate singing, "All we say is give peace a chance." It's 4 years since John Lennon was shot. A spine-quivering spirit of peace seems to fill the air. Like a choir of thrushes, our sweet high voices rise as more American soldiers arrive to line up inside the tent and face down our terrorist threat. For a moment, we are all held in a glorious symmetry. Us choiring peace solutions. Them, dark male opposites protecting their war machine. Then, a police horse, being ridden too fast, slips in the mud. The horse's legs flail around in an effort to stay upright, and a woman is kicked in the head by the horse. I'm outraged about what is going on. How dare the police be so reckless with us, just to protect their weapons of mass destruction? I feel something inside me solidify. Something more important than getting women to fancy me is calling out to me now. Before an ambulance has even arrived, the police use the fact that we are distracted by the injuries to pull women away from the gate towards their vans, dragging them a long way along the stony ground. Someone whispers to me how heavy I will become if I go limp. So I pass this message on to the woman sitting next to me. Linking arms, we nod in a promise to one another that we will stay put whatever happens. I'm still worrying about the woman who is hurt, as white-knuckled policemen's hands haul up women all around me. Where is that ambulance? It's hard to think limp when the fear kicks in, about whether I too will be hurt, or how those hands will grab me. The police work in teams but keep dropping our floppy bodies onto the road. One woman escapes and runs to sit back down. All of us whoop with joy until she is picked up again. It is at that very moment, with the pleas for peace singing soprano all around and police shouting at women to clear the road, that one of the radical feminists bends over to warn me that I have committed to driving everyone home in the minibus. If I get arrested, they will be stranded. And so in the end, instead of policemen, it is my sisters who drag me away.